Hello everyone, I am here today working on my new base. As far as the location, I will be building it right over here. This is just on the outskirts of the city. There is like a little Gothic little town over here, so that's where I chose to build at. It's just off the side of this little town area. So I will be building this with the Lost Colony skins in mind, making myself a Gothic Cathedral, which I am getting from a video from Etholdir. So I won't actually be showing the full building process, but I will be showing steps of it anyways. Now, as we can see here at the very back of it, it's right up here at the ground, but then going down this way as well as going over this way, there's a bit of a gap from the ground to the foundation levels. So because of that, I have set out these little sections where it dips down below the full size of a foundation. So these are going to be some little basement areas that I'll be setting up. Now I don't know if I'll actually be using these areas fully, but I would like to have them available and make use of the available space just in case I do need it. Now for the floor texture, I'll be going with this pattern on it, which is a little bit different than the actual foundation design, which is this right here. It's a little bit hard to tell with all the snow covering it, but the reason why I will be going with the floors flipped over as they are is because if I place down a ceiling right here off this foundation, well, right here we can see the pattern is going one way, but then the ceiling is going a completely different way. So what I'm having to do is place the ceilings in upside down. It does give a little bit of a lip difference from the actual height of the ceiling to the foundation, but that also allows me to put the ceilings down on top of the foundations and cover them up as well, which I've already done. I've gone through and placed the ceilings down on all the foundations, except I did notice that I missed two spots right over here. So I have it's right here, these two foundations. So if I place down the ceiling on top of them, as you can see, it goes down directly on top, just like that. So that's what I'll be doing for my floor. I still need to cover over the foundations in this particular room, and then I've got to actually go through and cover over the entire ceilings. Now, as far as this little mod over here, this is a item from the automatic base scanner. This allows me to be able to go through and set up a automatic scan placement. If I look down here on the bottom right with all my buffs, I've got automatic single, multi-class. This one I believe targets just a specific type of structure. Multi-unscan targets anything that doesn't have a skin on it. Multi-class unscan only targets like specific structures that are unscanned. Copy variants, or you can remove the different skins. Or what I keep it on usually is just automatic. So whenever I am placing out a skin or placing out a structure, it just immediately gets skin. So I'll be sitting here filling up all of these structures. Now right here I can't place anything right in this spot. So what I'm going to have to do for this one is pick up this foundation. And alright, looks like I still can't place anything right there. So that spot is probably just going to have to be ignored, sadly. But as long as I can get everything else set up, and I believe I placed those incorrectly. Yeah, I did. So, anyway, as long as I can get everything set up correctly, then shouldn't be too many issues with it. There are a couple spots right here where it does collide with the terrain a bit that I just can't place anything on, sadly. I'll have to see if I can find a workaround for that. But I'm just going to be sitting here placing out all these floors and placing in the actual foundation floor, so the ceiling for these little basement rooms. And then I'll bring everyone back from then. Alright, so I got the floor set up, and this is going to be how big it's going to be. I don't know exactly where the entrances are for his video. I believe he's got one over there, one over there, and I don't know if this front is also an entrance on his build, but I will be setting this front up as an entrance for mine. So anyways, this is what I've got on it. The foundation's laid out and set up properly. Now if I come over here to the staircase, now the staircase may be moved somewhere else later depending on how the setup is, but we got the inside of the basement down here. Pretty good size little area, just one foundation high in here. Then I have another staircase coming down here to a 2 high area. So this one's quite a bit bigger, a lot more space down here. And then from this one I come over to this side and I've got another small little area. And then around the corner over here I've got another pretty good sized area. So these are all going to be the basement areas of this cathedral. Now I don't know if I will be using these areas fully. That's going to be determined as I go through and set up the rest of the base. So now that I've got this all set up, I'm going to go ahead and cut it away, and I'll be getting started working on the walls. And I'll bring everyone back whenever I made some progress with setting up the walls. For the video that I am looking at for this, it's from Etholdir, as I mentioned previously, and I will have the video linked in the description for this one. Alright, and I am back again. Now, following along with the video, I've got all of these behemoth gates throughout, which are acting as these very large pillars. And then I've got the entire outside edge surrounded by these smaller gates. This one here is going to be an actual door. All these others are more of windows, just like over here. So over here we have the windows using, or these are inset by a quarter wall from the outside pillars, and then that's using these glass panes, which 1 through 4 I've got in charcoal, or actually 1 through 3 I've got in charcoal, and then 5 and 6 I've got in the scab coloring, which is the glass, and that gives it this red tint to it, same as the other structures. So on the video I did actually change a couple things to this so far, because up here on the top of this one he's got it as just like a flat roof. So instead of taking the roof down by one more like he did on his, I've got it stopped right here as a, just like a little, I don't know what it would actually be called, but I've seen stuff like this on a lot of the like cathedrals and stuff that you'll see around. But they've got this little walkway with rails going across of it. So I've got that. I may add in a few more rails right around here. Let's see. Switch this over to automatic. So I may add a couple extra rails just right here, just a little extra detail to it. That one didn't switch because it's out of range from where my character's at. So, just doing that. Now, as I said, his roof was completely flat up here, so I didn't really like that. So instead, I came in and added in these extra little window pieces up here. In addition to that, because of the terrain differences, for his, he just has a couple stairs out of this gate, but mine is quite a bit further down to the terrain. So I added in this little wraparound balcony going all the way around and then going down to the ground. Those are the two main changes, and I will be repeating this over on the far side over there, and then I'll be building up some more of the wall, and I'll bring everyone back whenever I get that far done. Alright, now I am back again, and I have this section of this part of the roof finished off. Just like on the other side, I added in these little extra windows up top. And also, I previously said that I wasn't bringing it down by an extra one down here, but I was mistaken on that. So, over here, it extends out by one for an overhang, and then I've got this extra flat ledge with the railing on top of it. And on the very back of it, I've also got the same setup. It is using all these gates back here as windows. It's the exact same as the front on the sides. I do see that I missed a few spots with the paint, which I'll fix here in a minute. So up here, again, I've added in these windows. I'm doing 2 windows per each behemoth gate section. So there are a total of 6 windows here, and each window is a double wide. I am painting all of the windows, regions 1 through 4 in charcoal, and 5 and 6 in red. That gives the metal this darker tones, while giving the glass a red stained glass appearance. All of the stone structures that I've got is all also in just full charcoal coloring, just 1 through 6. And this just gives the stone a really dark look to it to kind of blend it in with the Lost Colony text structures. At first, I was kind of skeptical about using just the default stone appearance, but it gives it kind of a more rundown and worn look to it, I think. So I actually think I like the stone structures with it, which is something that Etholdir also did in his videos. So down here, it's just the exact same on the other side as well. Got a little bit of railing in front of the windows, and both on the top and the bottom. That's basically all I've done so far. I believe the next thing to work on is probably going to be this little front section and these 2 side sections to get the first little level of this place closed off. Oh, these roofs that I'm using are from the Architect Structures Remastered. These are the convex stone roofs, which give it this rounded appearance. Same as these stone pillars, you can also put them at an angle and get this convex stone slope beams from them, which I thought was pretty nice to be able to add in, just to kind of round it off as you would see in like some Gothic structures. Now, if you're not playing with ASR, you can use just the regular stone roofs, or even the Lost Colony skins for these. And instead of a pillar right here, either leave it blank or use one of the rails. Now, off over here on this side, I added in another staircase down here. I still need to actually cover the foundations with some upside down ceilings, just so that it will match everything else. But then I have also added in just some foundations off over here, which are leading towards the ramp right over there. I can't really go any further out because of the wisp boundary, but just some little foundations to make a little walk path over there. Now this red bubble that I'm in, this is from the Wisp of Industry, which is tied to my 0 skill right now, my 0 slot. So if I go to the skills, down here at the bottom, the Wisp of Industry, it's an active ability, a flying wisp that can be controlled at any time, limited to the space around you, which is that red bubble. While controlling the wisp, you can place down, pick up, and demolish structures from your hotbar. So it's really nice to have to help with building, just so that I can actually get around quite a bit easier. So that's what I've got so far. Like I said, I believe the next part of the video I'm watching is going to be these 3 sections to close them off. Oh, it did move my staircase to the basements going down. It used to be right over here in this back corner, but that was also right in front of one of the gates. So instead, I moved it over here to right beside this pillar. And I can also put a rail right there. If I leave the list for a second, I can also add in the skin just to fix that. So yeah, I'll bring everyone back once I get these 3 sections all finished off, and I'll see you then. Alright, so I'm back again, and actually following the video, looks like we aren't working on the the entrances just yet. Instead, we are working on these sidewalls for the main hall section. And I did see a section that I missed over here. So what I've got here is the large stone walls. They're stacked too high. Got a 2-block gap in between, and then get this little section right here. Then if I go back into the wisp and come up here, so up here we have we have another wall on top, and it looks like I missed another spot. But we have the walls, and then we got another wall on top of that. Actually, looks like I missed a few spots. Sorry, easily distracted. And on the outside, down here, we have a quarter ceiling on the side with a regular ceiling in the middle. That allows us to place the windows right here in the middle section. We've got a quarter roof on the outside and a roof on the inside with some rails down the front of it just to give a little extra detail. Yeah, the rails are right here along the inside of this one. So then we've got some pillars that are going up from the top of the wall up by 2, followed by thin pillars on each one, although we're skipping this middle section and the middle section in the back. And so yeah, this is what I've got on so far. It is difficult to actually paint all of these sections, as but I'm working through and got a few spots to cover through on it. And then after I finish up this, the next piece of the build that I'll be working on is going to be the 3 main entrances. So again, we've got the side entrance over here, which has a large barn door right up front. I still need to set up the staircase going down. And then we've got 2 smaller gateways on either side. which I do have already set up with a staircase. And then, because I had the extra space for it, I also included the patios. And I believe after the entrances, we'll be working on the second part of the building, which is the upper portion of it. So I'm gonna cut away again and get to work on the entrances after I finish painting the rest of these structures I've noticed. And then I'll bring you back once I get the entrances done up. Alright, now I am back again with another update. So, since the last little clip on this building, I've gone through and I've added the staircase going up to the next level up here. Then we've got a dino gateway just to kind of block it off a little bit. Got the walls, and then up here in the middle, it's still open for the moment, but this middle section is done with the pillars as behemoth gateways. Then going up top, we have or up here we have a little bit of a roof, which goes up into the next level. So if I head on upstairs, I have done a few things that are a little bit different than what he's got in his video. In his video, he's actually got the staircase right here in the middle, but I like leaving the middle sections open. Another thing that is a little bit different is on these windows, he's got the side walls that are coming all the way down to the ground, or to the floor. I don't really like that, so I set it up like this with the windows. And like usual, I see that I've missed a few spots on the paint. With all the snow, and especially at nighttime over here, it is rather difficult to actually get everything painted all at once. Now, the sprayer that I'm using has a little bit of an increased range, I believe, because of it's from the Architect Structures Remastered mod. Probably one of my favorite mods, or building mods for coming to ASA. My favorite building mod of all is got to be the CKFR, but since coming to ASA, it's a premium mod, and I can't really afford to pay for it right now. But anyways, we got these large windows up here in each of these little sections, and then up here, this is still unfinished. It's going to be a large central tower at the top of the cathedral. Now, with the vanilla with sprinkles mod, they've got this multi-hotbar for F1 through F5, which are shown right here at the bottom. Well, with the wisp of industry from the skills, it has a little bit of a problem with the hotbar. So like if I go to the wisp and activate it, well, while I'm on this hotbar, there's no issue. I can fly around. But if I swap over to a different hotbar and then swap back, well, as you can see right here, the wisp icon is actually gone. So I would have to, I've got to reapply the wisp to the hotbar every single time that I switch hotbars and cancel out the wisp. And then also I've noticed that anytime you log off, I don't know if it's the same thing in if it's the same in like on the servers, but anytime you log off on it, it will reset the hotbars. So let me go ahead and I see that I missed a spot over here. Let me go ahead and reapply the wisp, and I'll go fix that real quick. So I have done a few changes that are a little bit different than what Etholdir has for his build. The main differences would be along the roof, because I've added this little quarter wall walkway and extra railing down here along the sides of each roof, as well as an additional overhang right here, just a small one with just the quarter walls. So it's nothing too major. Um, I think I'll leave that one out. So it's not too major of a difference compared to what he's got for his roofs. I did also add these rails going between the different pillars. It's just to give it a little bit more detail. If you don't have enough space for all the structures, that's definitely something you can leave out on it. I've got it the same on both roofs. And this is what I've got on it so far. All that's left is the large central tower, which I believe it just has this one little section to fill in, and then to top it off with a roof. And that should be about it. And then I'll be ready to actually move into this new base. Now, we do also have a couple balconies over here on both sides, which is something similar, the same thing as what he's got on his video. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. I'm almost done. It's finding a lot of spots that I've missed with the paint. Like I said, with the snow covering everything, it is very difficult to actually see what needs paint and what doesn't. But anyways, I'll get to work on finishing off this tower, and then I'll bring everyone back whenever I'm done with it. Alright, I am back again with another update. So I've got the tower all done up, although I am changing up the style of the roof. In Etholdir's video, he just has the roof just kind of squared off into a cap. So what I'm doing instead is I added in an extra staircase coming up even higher. And I am doing a roof like this with a double diamond windows, both of them painted red to match everything else. But I will be doing a similar style roof to these right here, just up here at the top of it. And that's how I'll be finishing it off. So I wanted to bring everyone back to talk about that. So what I'll be doing here is going through and just setting up these roofs, and I will be skinning them all over to the Lost Colony once I get the snap points correct. The way I'm able to auto skin these is with the automatic base skinner mod. That's the little blue sphere that you see in my hotbar currently. So I'm going to have the roofs like this. Then I believe I will be doing a quarter roof overhang off the sides, just like this one over here. And then a quarter ceiling down off of the bottom of down here. It's basically going to be the exact same as down there, just on a little bit of a bigger scale. So let me get all these put in. So far I think this build has been pretty nice. I don't normally build in like the Gothic style for buildings. I tend to go more with like a medieval themed builds, but this style definitely is rather interesting, and for this particular map it definitely fits with everything having more of a darker vibe to it. The way I'm swapping my hotbars like that is because of the vanillas with sprinkles hotbar swap. I mentioned it previously, but it's both good and bad. Having to reset my hotbars every single time I log back in, and also not being able to put and keep the Wisp of Industry on the hotbar is rather annoying. So I just need to finish off these roofs if I can stop getting the wrong snap points. What I'm going to do right now is just do this one side on camera, and then also do the top little bit, and then I'll just cut it away for the other side. I keep messing up that, and it's cycling it. Alright, so sadly with these little quarter roofs, I can't put railings on them. So this little section right here is just going to be a little bit of an overhang. But I can do a half railing right over here, which is what I'll be doing on both sides. Let me go ahead and get this other side in real quick. Oh, missed a snap. Alright, so now that the quarter, or the half roofs, or quarter roofs, or whatever it is, are in, I need to add in the rails, which I'm doing a half rail, just right up here on top of the quarter roofs. Make sure that's the correct way. So I'm going to do a pillar on either end of the roof. We'll do one right there, and then we'll do another one over here. Then I'm going to switch over to the half pillars, and we're going to place them every other one like this. And we're going to have the rails, the full-size rails, in between them. Now with the rails, they actually have two different variants that both look pretty nice. So the first variant is with a thinner top beam, and then if you flip it over, it actually has a thicker top beam on it. Although I like the thinner one generally. Just need to make sure all these get to the correct snap point rather than the angled snap that they like to go for. Alright, and now we're going to go back to the pillars, but we're going to do the thin pillars. And I'm going to put one on the top of all of these. Now over here, I'll fix that pillar here in a minute. The reason why this one didn't change is probably because it's out of range from where my character is at. But let me set up these. So rails down either side, and it looks like that one went underneath. But then I'm also doing rails down in the middle, going from each of the pillars down to the bottom of the roof. And then all that's left is I will be doing a rail right down here. Since I can't put a rail along the quarter roofs, I'm just going to skip this one little piece. And it looks like I'm going to actually need to go down and make some more quarter walls. So I will do that here in a moment. Let me get these last rails in that I can. If it'll give me the snap points. Alright, so I'm out of the rails. So what I'm going to do before I go back down is I'm going to go ahead and put in the last of the pillars. I'm going to do the same thing right down here. So we're going to go on the ends up by 2, then 1, then it'll be 2 right here in the middle, then another 1, and then at this end another 2. Then we're switching over to the smaller pillars, or the thin pillars, and we're going up by 1 again. So that's how the roofs are done. And I'm going to go down, make the rest of the rails that I need, and I don't know how to finish up this other side over here. But once I'm done with that, this base is fully built up. Although it looks like once again I missed a spot with the paints. That seems to always happen. Well, I'll see you again whenever I'm done with the rest of the roof and get this building all finished off. Alright, another update on the base. I'm got pretty much everything done with it. Now, while I was working on this base, I've also been breeding my theories. So I did hit 105, and that gave me access to the tech stuff, which I am currently wearing. As you can see right here, is the tech helmet. I got the full outfit. I decided to go ahead and keep the skin that I was using. I just added the cape to it. But I'm over here breeding up these theories for some mutations currently. This right here is from a mod called the Tech War Map, which just allows me to have a war map visual of each of the different maps that I can set it to. I've also got 2 over here for the actual Lost Colony map. But anyways, back to the build. So if I come out here and take a look at it, this is how it looks from the outside down in the front. It actually doesn't look like it'd be that big on the inside, just from looking at it down here. At least not at first glance, but then once you come inside, I've got a staircase going up to the next levels. Over here we got 2 little areas to the side, then this massive hall area, and then a 3rd area to the back over here. I've got a staircase going down into my basement areas over here. So I've got this one, and then this one, and then I've got that little secret entrance basement on the other side, which I showed in a previous clip. So if I head upstairs, right here, I just set out a few tech sleeping pods. Just so that they're kind of, I wanted to have them so that they're close to the ground, but also raised up as well, so that, I mean, it's just not going to take too long to get to the beds or to get out of the beds. So up here is my crafting area, or my workshop. I've got my tech replicator right here in the middle. Sadly, it's a bit too big to fit it underneath these little roof sections without it sticking up. Over here, got my kitchen, got some extra storages, got my fridges. This is the industrial cooker, which I actually wanted to paint it. I've got my grill over here, and then some beer barrels over here. Now, with these beer barrels, you can't actually pull for beer. So I'm using this one over here, which is the RR Medieval Beer Barrel from the RR Medieval one. This one here I can actually use to pull the beer, but it requires these beer mugs to pull it out, which don't work for like taming up like the Calicotheriums and the elephants. So I just pull the resources to this one and then transfer it to these. Now over here I have my actual workshop. Got the steam forge set up right here. Then over here I've got the repair anvil from the Nola Sprinkles, I believe. Fabricator, my Klinger smithy with a regular smithing. This is the ASR Tech crafting bench. This will allow me to craft any sort of tech structures. Over here on this side, I have my Mega Lab, my Warbench, Tinkering Desk, and then the RR Potion Smithing. Then up top, we have just a couple of empty rooms right now for the balcony access. I'll be having my flyers put up here eventually. And then once I come up here further, again, it's just empty space right now. I will eventually have all the space filled up with different things. Dinos, storages, who knows what exactly. But up here at the top, I did change the roof of my build compared to what was actually shown in the video I was following. Because in the video I was following, he actually went and brought the roof up directly from this level and just did a square cone on the top of it. I didn't exactly like that, so I set it up like this. Now I may be changing these windows areas a little bit later. I'm thinking about busting out the window and then the slope gables right beside it and putting in a dino gate on both sides with another little balcony and using this little area up top to store additional flyers. So that may be one of the changes I make here later. But my base is, or my new base is all fully up and ready. And this thing has a ton of space. I don't know for sure if I'll actually be able to utilize the full amount of space that this building has, but it definitely has plenty of space. And if you're playing with other people and you wanted to do something like this for like a large tribe, this is definitely a good sized building for a reasonable sized tribe. Anyways, I think that'll be all for the base showcase, and I'm just going to be headed back to working on breeding up my theories. Currently trying to get melee mutations and health mutations. I also had the Zeppelin over here to help move stuff around and to get access to the different parts of the building a little bit easier. Same as the Desmodus. Just because some of these areas are really hard to reach otherwise. But anyways, that'll be all for this episode. I hope everyone enjoys what I've brought, and I know it's not my original build, but I still wanted to show this off, and it's pretty nice. Oh, I hope you have a good day. Catch you next time.